morning, everybody, and welcome to CSL Charlotte. We are the Mind Body Spirit Center. And I just want to say welcome to everyone. And no matter what day this week you're listening to us, today is Father's Day. So I'm still sending that Father's Day out to all these fathers in the world that are watching today. So have a great Father's Day. And if you didn't have one anyway, on me. So welcome to the CSL Charlotte, the Mind Body Spirit Center. Today, we're going to talk about the mind-body connection. I release all things that no longer work for me. I release all things that no longer serve me. And then right now, let's start with that short centering. Breathe in really deep and really long. You can close your eyes or you can just look straight down at your lap. And now breathe in really deep and really long. And then let that exhale go as that diaphragm travels up your body. Beautiful thing. You know, I release all things that no longer serve me. I release all things that no longer work for me. And sometimes that's the first shift in a conversation that you can just have with yourself in your oneness with spirit. And all you got to do is keep saying it until you loosen that grip. Gotta let it go. You're not forcing or fixing anything. You're just letting your body soften. I release all things that no longer serve me, and I release all things that no longer work for me. So let this song and this moment be the beginning of your release. So what we're sharing here is something we value deeply. And I just allow anyone who feels fed by it to support it, whether you're on YouTube or wherever you are, because our community flows and it is definitely sustained through your generous giving. So thank you for your part in that. And with that energy, open your minds and your hearts for this talk, the mind-body connection. So wiggle your fingers and your toes and connect your mind, body, and spirit. And now listen with that connection. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever looked at your life and felt like you were trapped in a loop? Same old, same old? That's what a loop is. Same stuff, different day, right? Well, it's like no matter what you do, you keep running into the same toxicity, the same toxic relationships, the same toxic bank account. But that can change. But here's the thing. You have to ask yourself questions like this. Are you in the exact same financial struggle that you were in last year? Think about it. Every single whenever year or month, you need to keep questioning yourself. Is it better or could it be better? Don't say worse. Well, you can say whatever you want. But is it better or could it be better? That's what I like to say. Because here's the thing. If your focus is entirely on the physical reality that you see in front of you, well, then I invite you to let that go. Let this thing go where you think that you can fix the physical on the physical. That's interesting. Think about that. Mind, body. The mind is one thing. The body is another because it's physical. But they're connected. They're one. It's a connection. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza is a powerful, powerful neuroscientist. There's tons of them, but I love them all because they're just fantastic. They just tell you how everything works, and it does. Joe Dispenza says you cannot fix a physical problem with physical effort. I wonder if you can get that. See, people try to fix their financial problems by working longer, exhausting hours, but that doesn't fix it. That just makes you tired. Now that's when you're destroying the body, making the body tired. They try to fix relationship problems by changing partners. You don't have to change partners. You just maybe need to get away from that partner, but you don't have to get a new one just because, no, that's not it. That may not be it. But you know what? If you're doing that, hopping from partner to partner, or worrying about your whatever you're worrying about. Here, if you're going to get a new partner, you're going to find the same story with that next person, because guess who you're taking with you to the next job, to the next relationship? Take a wild guess. You got to fix that person, because you're not trying to fix a mirror by moving the little smear off of there. You are changing that person in that mirror that you're looking at. See me? Literally, you got to change that. So instead of changing the person, you're looking in the mirror. A lot of you go and try to smear to clean that mirror. That's the physical problem right there. You got to get in here. That's the spiritual problem, because you can fix all your problems through spiritual work instead of physical work. That's not always going to work. Because what happens is, if you're thinking of all these things you need to do logically, you know what? I have to do this. I crossed that off my list. No. If you start doing that, then you're going to be trapped in this physical realm trying to heal things, fix things, solve things, if you will. See, the truth is, you have the capacity to go beyond that physical point. And that is the biggest thing that Joe Dispenza teaches. Oh my God. He has people set up with the progs and all of that in his workshops and things of that nature. But I'm really happy that I was able to do the work myself, because it was more work for me to do it on my own than it was for me to pay them $3,000-4,000. But it's the same thing. You can do the same work, because this is what he did. He showed us that you have to go beyond the physical, but not only that you have to, but the fact that you have the ability and the capacity to go beyond the physical. I talk about that all the time. This is not by any means a new concept that I'm talking about. This has been going on throughout history. So many leaders have spent their lives trying to show us the way out of this trap. And so Carl Jung is another one, but I like my philosophers, I like my neuroscientists, and I like my psychologists and psychiatrists, all of them. But Carl Jung, he discovered that the mind and body also are not separate entities. They're not. They're one and the same, because he showed us that when you repress your emotions, they don't just vanish. You heard Horace when he read, it goes right inside. Your body keeps a track of everything that's going on, and your body does not get sick by accident. It does not. It is not ill. And everything you hide and sweep under the rug goes synced right into that subconscious mind. And once it gets caught up in that mind, it's going to show out in that body. The mind-body connection is awesome, but we have to respect it, the two of them, and keep them together. Because eventually, if we don't, they begin to manifest physical symptoms, and we end up calling that your fate. Oh, no. Listen, this is what I like about Carl Jung. He had this famous tagline, and I want to know if you get this. He said, until you make your unconsciousness conscious, it will direct your life, all of that broke stuff you feel about yourself, and you will call it your fate. So many people say that's their fate. You're not supposed to do that. But here's this other Dr. Dr. Bissell, whatever, Koch, Kolk. He showed us how the body keeps the score. Now, this is so powerful. He said people don't get sick, like I said, by accident. He said it keeps a precise record. That's how his words were. It keeps a precise record on your emotion. You heard what Horace read. Every truth you didn't tell, Oh, they said to you, how are you? And are you upset with me about, oh, you want to talk about it? Oh, no, I'm fine. Ah, every truth you did not speak, every wound that you buried, all the people pleasing. Ching, ching, ching. And you know what? Then you get upset over things because your buttons get pushed. But you know what? That third person that pushed that same button that you built is going to do that. But it's not them that pushed your button. They didn't build it. You built that button because you forgot that, I got to care for myself a little bit more. I have to calm down. Maybe I need to just go breathe somewhere and just go into some kind of meditation. Because see, Dr. Gabor, another person, he famously proved that if you say no, wait a minute, what was the thing? If you don't say no to people to protect your boundaries, that was his words. He said, your body will say no for you in the terms of what is it? He said physical illness and chronic fatigue. You ever notice people that's always saying they're tired, they're tired, they're tired? Keep saying no to people, keep being the people pleaser, and keep on going. And you can have all that you want. I have to say that because maybe that'll say, okay, I hear you. And then I know this, I like this. There's a female, there's a bunch of female neuroscientists that I've really fallen into this week. Dr. Candace Pert, she discovered all these little cellular truths, but she showed proof to us. Yeah. She said, our cells are listening. I know I say it all the time and people are going, what? I said, let me read some more. Let me see if I can just say it differently so people can understand what you say, what you do. It's all counting. It's all adding up. She said that your cells are literally listening to your thoughts in real time. Now, today you might have a not so good thought and a not so good feeling, and you think it's over because you didn't do it. You do that self-forgiveness, you'll help yourself. Relax your body. That's self-forgiveness. You don't have to sit there and go, I forgive you for doing this. Just breathe for you. Show you how much you love you. Just that's important. That is self-forgiveness. Because you see, it's that dark, suppressed, and depressed patterns that generate the sicknesses in people's life. And it also keeps scarcity in your life, but it keeps the sickness in your life as well. But here's the thing, just think about this. If that darkness and all that sadness and all that depression stuff makes things not so happy for you, then you gotta know it's the truth that the light heals all that darkness. It's the opposite. So go against the opposite instead of going in the dark. See, one person I met who experienced the light over on the other side, she came to one of our classes. Now, in ministerial school, we had the best spiritual doctors there are that came and well, I call it spiritual doctors because that is what Amit Goswami, he was our doctor, and he taught us, how to be spiritual doctors and how to heal people and how to heal ourselves. But the powerful thing about that was they had her come to us. She was one of the best examples of people to help us experience spiritual medicine. Okay. But here's the thing, not all of us got it. Not all of us took the work home and lived with it. Some people heard the information, but they didn't sleep with it. They didn't eat with it, and they didn't live with it. I used to tell everybody, and they would think it was a joke, but I was very serious. I said, I'm going to my laboratory at home. I'm going to my laboratory because I did. I bought it, I ate it, I slept it, and I wanted to see exactly how this thing works, so I followed it. But let me just tell you, the greatest proof I saw on the other side, even though there was a lot others, was Anita Marjani. Now she's out all across the country. Everybody is definitely listening to her. Marjani, Anita, she had come to speak to us. Wow. So what happened was she didn't come to impress us. She wasn't one of those motivational speakers. She came to tell us about the truth of her experience about the light. So when her body shut down some 15 years ago, every cell, every organ shut down due to terminal cancer, and she had days to live, maybe minutes. But what happened was she slipped into a coma, but she stayed in that coma for 6 weeks, but she wasn't just sleeping. I always tell people, when we're practicing, and I say, no, you're not going to sleep. You're not going to do this as sleep. You're going to relax in my room. You're not going to sleep here. This is not where you sleep. Don't allow your body to slump you. But so what she did, the good news is that she knew all that because obviously Marjani, she had to be Hindu or something, but she was fabulous. I met her, so I was glad to see her. But let me just tell you this. She decided that when she slipped in there, she wanted to be curious. I like it. Because now she told us about people she saw. She said there was none of the people that she saw on that side were the same versions that they were when they were here. In other words, the things on that side is totally experienced, totally different than any other place, and it's nothing like here. All things that happened here were forgiven there. Now, she said nobody verbally spoke, but it was understood. We're good. Although there was no talking, she got the message. So she went and learned all of these things by talking to these people. But listen to this. Her father and her had the worst relationship in the world, she said. And it was almost like they couldn't stand the sight of each other. But on the other side, she said his entire presence was totally different. There was no anger, there was no tension, and there was no story. So she was experiencing this all those whole 6 weeks. But you know what? To her, it seemed like a moment in time. But to her family, they were going with the time, the physical time. She was not in that space of physical time. So she met a lot of other people that were not so great, and she may not have been so great too, but they were even transformed. So she said in that coma, she completed a spiritual mind training and a deep remembering. That hit me like a ton of bricks. I said, see, I knew. I always believed it on the other side. It was different. It is nothing like now. And people may smile and say, yeah, I know. She thinks she talks. I know I'm talking to the other side. And she was very sincere. She wasn't performing. She was telling us what she experienced. But here's the part that changed my life forever. She said, when she woke up 6 weeks later, every single cell in her body was healed. Every organ restored, and terminal cancer gone, completely gone. Now, that's when I started getting rid of all the things that baggage I was carrying, like the blood pressure back 20 years ago, the whatever it was I was dealing with at the time. All of that stuff began to fall away. I released all that stuff because I did all the practices. See, you just can't say, oh, I'm just doing these practices and I expect something to happen. You have to be totally sold out to it. I'm totally sold out to it. I cannot imagine myself not sitting and just going home, or not just going along and saying to myself, whatever it is. Even if I'm upset, I know that even if I'm upset, I'm not going to stay there forever. I know that I got the control. I got the bull by the horns right here. So I was so grateful to be in that audience that day. And it meant so much for me, because one of the things she also said, she said, I spent my entire life in fear, people pleasing, and suppressing my own voice. I said, well, I'm right with you, Anita, and I will not be suppressing my voice anymore. Because she realized that was an emotional deficit. So that fear had literally burnt her body out. So whatever it is on the fear side, it may not be just literally fear. But whatever it is, it's burning out your body. Stop it. When she got back onto this side, she returned here to live from love instead of fear. And that's what she did. And her body completely turned around with that known. And that thing really got me going. So within a few weeks of her working up, this here's the thing, she was totally free of cancer. So if that could happen to her, it can happen to anybody who is willing. And the thing that I liked about her was that she always knew the other side existed. Knew. She didn't think, she didn't believe, she wasn't being logical. I know. When I do those portals, I did the portal for my cousin who just passed away. I do those portals very seriously. You might think, oh, I don't care what you think. I know. And so she proved also, because of what happened, she proved to the medical world that healing starts long before the body catches up, because the mind is first. She was very curious about what happens over on the other side, instead of just go ahead and flop into the death, because some people do, because they don't know any better. But I said to people, don't allow yourself to just go out just because you're tired. Push. You be the controller. Get behind the wheel, because then you could get some real speed. And that fear is the greatest block of your reality, because you're not going to be able to do what you got to do if you're stuck in the fear of, I don't know, if I can't push, or no. So this stuff has been known throughout history. This is not new. I'm not just talking about something. And Anita accepted, and she learned a lot on the other side, but she did not try. What I like most about anything, she didn't try to use her logical mind to figure this out. And that was the experience of many people that I've seen, that I've witnessed, that I know, that it is exactly why I believe that the mind-body connection is real. Real, 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 real. The same mind and body that stores all that pain, scarcity, and all those loops is the exact same system that can release it. Let me tell you, there's a girl, I was living in Charlotte, wow, 2005 and 6. And I was only, I always believed, I always knew, but I was only in medicine, as a practitioner student back then, something like that. But she said, Rosedale, I have cancer and whatever. I didn't say to her, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I will never tell you that. If you don't want to hear me, I'm not going to tell you anything. But she said, I said, can I just say something to you? She said, yes. I said, well, the same God that created you is the same God that can heal you. And I said in the reading, you're not a creator of your circumstance. I mean, you're not a victim of your circumstances. You are the director. You are that same God that created you, and you are that same God that can heal you, any situation in your life. And like Joe Dispenza always said, go beyond the physical. How do I go beyond the physical? I may be out walking or driving, and I just go out there and start looking at something other than what I'm looking at. Not happening. I refuse to just go totally figuring out, how can I get that balloon to do this? No, that's not what it's all about. I don't need to get something that's physical out there to move inside of me. I need to get me inside of me so that things beyond me could move. You got to go beyond the physical. Even if you first wake up in the morning, you're beyond the physical, but you don't have time. You got to get up, or you're rushing. Well, see, then that's not going to beyond the physical. The minute you wake up in the morning, you're not quite there. You're not physical yet. Don't be a nobody, meaning nobody. Be a no person with a name. Be nothing, no thing. Just lay there and listen to the messages. You don't have to hear word for word. Just let the messages flow through your cells, because your cells are talking. But that's okay, because this is the way to reclaim your power. All we need to do is finally release the old story. Oh, yeah, see, the doctor told me this and that and the other thing, and so I have to do this. Well, okay, stop gripping. That's what this thing is. Stop gripping on the identity that kept you small, you know? And then remembering all the battles you had with people, let them go. And you become lighter than you have ever been. See, then you'll start making these little changes and you won't even understand how come you're doing them. I was so excited about the changes I had begun to make. Food changes, you know, I change a lot to see if I'm experimenting constantly on the food. I'm experimenting constantly on how to think that way or how to change that thought. I'm constantly in the experimental mode. See, you start making those little changes, and next thing you know, you look in the mirror, you don't even recognize that person that used to struggle. That's what I'm saying about me. That person that struggled 20, 15 years ago is not that same person. I'm nowhere near her. I got real light. I guess I call it weightless. You know, can you say this word? Cut the strings and let me go because I'm weightless. Can you say that? Because when you become lighter than you've ever been, you're weightless. As we give to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte, we are prosperous. Okay, and that's what we do. So thank you, Groovy, for that. And you know what? What we're talking about today, the mind and the body working as one, is the same principle that applies to our giving. Our giving is part of the same process that we're talking about. It's about the mind-body connection. And the thing is, when something nourishes your body and supports your growth, the natural response is to participate in its flow. Exactly. The farmers support you by sending the food here. You go to the grocery store and buy it, right? It's just fair exchange is no robbery. Your giving is not separate from your spiritual practice. It is not. It's part of the same alignment work that you are already doing. It's the way of saying, I value what feels my mind. I value what feels my body, and I value what fills my spirit. Interesting. Thank you for strengthening how the mind, body, and spirit connection works through your giving. And thank you for joining us and hearing and being here, whether it's YouTube or being here this morning. The mind-body connection works in your life as well. As we wrap up our time together, let's just remember this week, the mind-body is always connected. Don't separate it this week. Don't separate it anymore because you see what happens. You need them together. It's a package deal. Hey, and you know what? The mind-body connection, what it does is it means that you're choosing a version of you that matches your vibration for the vitality of your life, your body, your health, your wealth, all of this. And the more consistently you sit with yourself, the easier it is to come back and sit with that mind-body connection. If you walk in the streets, if you're driving, sit with it. Because the quantum field is always supporting you in the mind-body connection. Until we meet again, I would just say this. The mind-body connection will carry you forward. Let it happen. And so it is.